Welcome to the Grow Renaissance podcast. Let's nourish the world.
What's up, Grow community? Welcome to this week's updates. I have a few things to update you on. We are coming off of an amazing event that we partnered with the Connect and the Wind blockchain to put on an event about impact blockchains in the world doing really good things. So we had the opportunity. We had about 50 people fly in from all over the world. Many representatives from our Australia community traveled over 30 hours to come here to Puerto Rico, meet with us, and talk about how we could grow all of the things that we are doing. So as an update, I wanted to dive into our partnership with Connect. So some of you inside of the Grow community may have heard of Connect. Some of you may have not. What is Connect and why do we work with them? So Connect is a specific platform that works on top of its own blockchain, which is called the Wind blockchain. And one of the things that we leverage with the Wind blockchain is the ability to create an index of actions that are happening, particularly in sharing the mission of Grow. So inside of the Grow blockchain, we focus on food. We focus on food transactions, what's happening to nourish the world. The Wind blockchain focuses on how can they track positive actions in things that lead to growth inside of a specific project. And so on the Wind blockchain, you can track actions like sharing an account. So if you were inside of the Connect and you were connected into Grow, you could actually send out refer links, and then all of that would be tracked and you would be rewarded in the Wind coin for doing that. And so that's the reason that we partner with them, is because it rewards positive actions. And I had a really cool kind of aha moment as I was presenting to most of these Connect reps on RWA and as it ties to sharing the project versus sharing real world assets. And so RWA, many of you have heard me say real world assets, because one of our main utilities and projects that we're working on getting on chain is tracking real world assets. So any actions that are taken in the world that lead to a real world asset, whether that be a cow, a piece of grain, and then even things like biodiversity and carbon credits, as we track those actions and put them on chain, you also have real world actions. So Grow is really focusing on real world assets. I view as the Connect and the Wind chain focusing on real world assets and rewarding those who share. When you look at what I believe we're doing, which was building a network state that has real world utility, the way you have to do that is share it. And so we at Grow United, myself, we get questions all of the time of when certain things will happen inside of the Grow market, inside of the Grow community. And first of all, this episode and continuing to do this every week will continue to be updates on how we're moving those needles forward. But it also comes down to us as a community building it, because I don't own the blockchain. None of the original founding members that had the ideas to come in and build the Grow blockchain own the chain. It really comes down to each and every one of us. And so as we share accounts, get people to sign up wallets, get people to become holders of the Grow reward token, those are all positive actions that can be shared, as well as getting people to run nodes, getting people to buy blockchain products such as the animal NFT, which I have an update on today as well. And so we were coming off of this event, and it was really amazing to have over 50 people there loving what we were doing, ready to go home and share it and take it to the world. And the way that we're going to take that to the world right now is share the blockchain. Many of you have heard me say what we are doing is building the new railway system, going off of the Henry Ford quote. If I had asked people what they wanted, they would have said faster horses. We don't want to have the fastest horse. We want to have an entire new way, an entirely new network state for people to come in, participate on, and do it in a decentralized way. If we don't continue to build that railroad, then no matter how cool the cars are that we're building, they won't have a railroad to run on top of it. And so that is what we were focused on. We're excited to continue our partnership with Connect to make it easy to share Grow, share information about Grow, get people to sign up for accounts, get people into Learn and our Learn to Earn Academy, which is coming. And that leads me into my next update. one of the things that we are working on top of just this podcast and other updates, is educating our entire community on all of the aspects of blockchain, of crypto, how that ties into real world assets. And we want to reward you for actually taking your time to learn those. And so we are working right now on creating a Learn to Earn Academy in which you could come in, watch videos, read blogs, read information about all of the things that are happening and can happen on the blockchain, and you could be rewarded in Grow token for doing that. So in the next 2 weeks, I will come out with timelines of when you will be able to actually get in the Grow Learn to Earn Academy. The next update leads into our product side. And I talked last week about our animal NFTs. We are currently in the alpha testing of that product. I believe that this product is going to be the catalyst of setting farmers free and making them the producer of the story again. Because what this product will do is it will create a digital representation of that real world asset. So I'm going to use cows because that's what we're currently testing right now. And I've gotten the question, why cattle? First and foremost, when Royal Family Farming, Austin, started tracking, building Farm Tracer at the beginning of all of this story, cows is where we started. Cows are also not divisible until they are butchered. And so as you raise cattle, as you feed them, you only have one cow to track. And so with the current partners that we have, we're working on RFID tracking. And then one of those partners doesn't have that. So working on protocols of how do we get good data into the Oracle, and the Oracle will be, for example, Farm Tracer. And the way you can think about an Oracle is you have what's happening in the real world, what's happening on the farm. Then you have this middle gate, which we refer to as an Oracle, and that Oracle is who's providing the data or how the data is walking over into the digital world, which is the blockchain side. And so when we create an NFT, which is the digital representation of the cow, so you have the digital representation NFT, which is the animal NFT, and then you have the real world asset. Well, as data is taken from that real world asset and it's moved through the Oracle onto the digital cow, that's the process. And then you could create actions that are rewarded in that NFT. And so, for example, how are you going to feed that cow? How much does it cost to raise that cattle to a hang weight that it can be butchered up into divisible assets like steaks, ground beef, organs, and then sold? And so what we are working on right now and will be focused on for the next 30 days is modeling how that works. And we specifically chose 3 alpha partners with that in very different regions of the world with different types of cattle. And if you think about a farm in Australia versus a farm here in Puerto Rico where I am today, the environments are different, the feed is different, the breed of cattle is different, the farm is different. And so it's very important for us to have really good numbers to build off of a model on how we're, one, tracking the real world asset, which is the cow, but 2, what's the upside on the cattle? How do you put it on chain? How do you raise it? Who's funding it? How do those funds go into place via smart contracts? And all of the minutia that goes into making that seamless for the farmer. Because if we walk into a farmer, and for any farmers listening to this, it has to be easy. They already put in their blood, sweat, and tears just getting the cattle, keeping them alive. We have to make that as easy as possible so that we can scale it, so that we can start to turn the ship, change the tides of what's happening in the food system, and make it not so centralized, so that everybody is owned by the commodity pricing and big guys in the space. And so for timelines on that for you as our community, we are in May. From now, May 5th is when I'm recording this, to the end of May, dialing in the financial models of every single one of those farms so that we have good tests, good numbers, so that we can launch that and bring that to the community in the summer of 2025. So that's the update and the goal on the animal NFT. Now, for anyone that has purchased an animal NFT, right now they're listed in the shopping cart for $250. I want to explain what that is. There's only a certain amount of cows, 1, that we're currently partnering with, and 2, in the world as a whole. And so our goal is to get as many cattle tracked and on the chain as possible, but it's going to come in phases. And so anyone that comes in and is already holding that animal NFT, you are prioritized to the top of the list to actually activate that cattle when data is ready to go in. So to go a little bit deeper, you have a container NFT. Think of it like an empty soul, right? And so that soul doesn't have any data. It doesn't have a body connected to it. But when it's ready to be activated, meaning there's a real cow either born or raised to the specific point that the farmer's ready to put it on chain, that's when that is activated. And there's X amount of those cattle right now with the partners that we have. And so those that want to be a part of this, that want to have cattle, real life, real world assets tracked on chain and attached to that cow NFT, that is who will be prioritized in the distribution of those animal NFTs. So that's where we are with that product and moving that along. It's exciting. It's a lot of work. It's changing a system that is very archaic, and it's freeing the farmers. And so we will keep you updated that week in, week out as we go through that process. Lastly, today we are coming up on our event this weekend in New York City. We have a few seats. I don't know the exact number right now. If any of you are close to New York City or you would like to attend the event, please reach out to us on Discord and we will see if we can get you a seat in that event. The purpose of that event is to talk about all of the things that we're doing on the chain. We have some exciting people, some big names in the agriculture space that will be visiting us coming in. We have some partners with Maha, Del Bigtree coming in with us to speak and see how we can make everybody healthy again as well. So thank you all for listening. My goal is to make these sub 15 minutes every week so that you can listen to it, get an update on the things that are happening. If you have questions, if you have specific things that you would like updates on, please let us know inside of the Discord and I will speak on it every single week. Thanks guys, and let's keep the Renaissance and the Grow Renaissance movement moving in a positive direction.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Grow Renaissance podcast. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe this episode. Remember, it will take a community of us to do the best in the world and truly nourish not only ourselves, but the planet, the atmosphere, the soil, the plants, and the animals on it. So make sure you spread this message anywhere that you can.